Good afternoon, welcome to VANIK-IAS. We will start discussing 11th May current affairs. Security challenges and their management. How to minimize the threat from improvised explosive devices. How to minimize the threat. Recently, 5 soldiers were killed and another were injured in a gunfight with militants in the Rajouri Punch sector of Jammu division. Improvised explosive devices, because some militants they have used some explosive devices and 5 people are killed. So how to address such security challenges? It's coming under internal security topic. According to the army, the gunfight broke out after explosive devices was triggered. When a search team was established the contact with a group of terrorists hiding in a cave in the Kandi forest, killing 2 soldiers. So gunfight that broken out and that after the explosive devices was triggered. Two soldiers have there are 2 soldiers died because of explosive, and then after army started a gunfight. On April 26, an IED, that is improvised explosive devices, killed 10 security personnel in the district reserve guard of Chhattisgarh Dantewada area. Jawans were out on an anti-Maoist mission when they were ambushed. So that is also a big challenge. Anti-Maoist mission, Maoism are killing in Chhattisgarh. The getting blast, IED blast happened. 10 personnel died. So what to do in this such cases? So is there any mistake in following the safety procedure? The quintessential dilemma for security forces is that they are dealing with enemy who is faceless, yes, unidentifiable and hidden among the people. Wedded to upholding the law of the land and protecting its people, security personnel can open fire only in self-defense, not on apprehension. Yes. Fact is that they are faceless. It's not in case of conventional war or an organized war. You know that this person is an enemy, is a soldier. You both fight with each other. But this guerrilla welfare, such type of warfare is called as guerrilla welfare. Right? In case of guerrilla welfare, what happens? You don't know when they will attack. You cannot be, it is not possible to be ready for to attack each time because you are human beings, so you don't know when you will be attacked. There and these who are terrorists also you don't know. They are hiding among the common people. You cannot kill all the people. You cannot kill all the people. Security personnel can open fire only in self-defense, not in apprehension. Yes. And another thing is that security personnel they can open fire only in case of self-defense. That means after attack occurs, they can only attack. They need some special permissions. Only when in apprehension, that means offensive. Offensive acts. Offensive means when you start firing from your own, realizing that a particular person is a terrorist or something like that. That power only is given to Armed Forces Special Power Act in case of Northeast and Jammu and Kashmir. In certain districts of North and Jammu and Kashmir, this apprehension power it is given to based on the doubt. It is only given to APSPA. Okay. Militants, whether they are luxury Taiba in Kashmir or they are Maoist in central India, have fast mover advantage. Yes, they have the advantage of fast mover advantage. That means suppose that five common people are standing, obviously the security forces will not attack or them or unless they attack. They always have the advantage of fast mover. They will start attacking the forces, then forces will attack. So they have advantage of fast mover advantage. Triggering a landmine or an IED mobile army vehicle or opening blast with an AK-47 on a static CRPF sentry post. So they start opening fire with an AK-47. Immediately they can kill so many people. Or IED blast in a mobile vehicle. So these things are they have fast mover advantage. Only things that happens then only generally the security personnel can take strong actions. In such all scenarios, particularly in a landmine, IED abuses, the reaction of the response time available for what is called immediately action or counter ambush drill in a few seconds, and that too if a few of the security personnel are lucky enough to survive the initial IED ambush. Particularly reaction of the response time available what is called immediate action or counter ambush drill in a few seconds, and that in few seconds certain people will attack if they are alive. Suppose out of 20 people, 5 people are alive, they will counter attack. But thing is that how many people are alive after the attack? Then only they will attack, they will re-attack to them. Then only there will be defense reaction. Hence, all standard operating system and procedure technological measures directed towards identification, detection of IED landmines, and to avoid being caught in them. So, all standards of operating procedures, technological measures are directed towards identification and detection of ID and to avoid being caught in them. So that's why you have to buy various technologies. All you can do is technology. All you can do is technology. By technology, you can detect this ID, and after the identification, you can take action. The first thing that must be kept in mind to avoid travel by vehicle. The safest mode of travel is on foot in a region where left-wing extremism is active. It's traveling by foot, by walking. Where left-wing extremism is active, only you can do it by walking. That is the safest mode. Studies show that over 60% of casualties or fatalities in Maoist territories are because of vehicles ambushed in landmines. So 60% of casualties are because of vehicles. It is also seen in a recent Chhattisgarh incident. But the fact is how you will move from one area to another area. If you are moving 5 kilometers by walking, chances are they will attack or they will fire from different directions. That is also another challenge. If everybody will start walking, only walking mode of movement will happen. Definitely, maybe there will be again so many casualties because those areas are dense forest areas. In a dense forest area, if people are by walking mode, doesn't matter 20 or 30, from distance they can be easily killed. At present time, official figure is that more casualties are in the landmines because many times they are moving inside the vehicles. So when they will start moving and walking, that may also be thus we can get larger number of that will be because that will be a good that will be a good that will be easier for the militants to attack because they are walking. Routine operations like area domination, cordon and search, long range patrolling, ambush come patrolling, so forth can only be undertaken on foot. Vehicles can travel. Vehicle travel should be undertaken rarely that to only urgent operational reasons after exercise and due diligence. So we should that is the reason that's why we should reduce the because ID blast cannot be done to person who is walking, right? It will be identified easily. And when people are walking, they are disintegrated in different regions. They walk in different areas, so simultaneously 15 people will not be killed. Because if one people killed, obviously everybody will be alert. A little known fact about that mouse to avoid the risk of civilian casualties. Neither triggered IED during the night time. Yes, civilian casualties. They do not trigger IED during night time, nor use anti-personnel induced mines because they themselves will also work. Tribal people will also work, so they do not use these induced mines, anti-personnel mines. Personal mines means if someone will stay, he will be blast. He will be blast. They are not using it because tribals they are moving here and there. They will die because of that. Their own people will die, so they do not use anti-personnel mines. But in border areas, you will see anti-personnel mines. In the Jammu and Kashmir, you will see anti-personnel mines. The extra timing is triggered. Triggering IED is also an issue. Extra timing. Triggering IED is also an issue during night time. So during night time, it is making the arrangements is also difficult. Night travel by vehicle is also relatively safe for security forces. Right. Unfortunately, most instances the security forces travel during daytime, and that too by the same route, resulting fatalities. While moving around in camouflage help. Stealth, camouflage, and concealment are integral part of anti-terrorist operations. What do you mean by that? Those dresses, which by which it will not easy that you will be detected. And stealth means you will not be easily identified. Olive green vehicles in the army, you cannot know that they are coming. Light green vehicles for the CRSF are easily identified from a distance, giving adequate time. And yes, this if now these olive green and these light green they are also easily getting identified. That's why it is an opportunity to terrorists to organize an idea of this. That is a problem. So this camouflage this need to be used. Stealth technology to be used so that it will not be easily detected by the terrorists. If vehicle travel is absolutely essential, security forces are expected to take civilian and state road transport corporation buses to avoid easy identification. They must travel with civilians in mm, with weapons carefully concealed. What about armored vehicles and other protective gear? In certain war zones, vehicular deployment is inevitable. Security forces working in such areas should be equipped with appropriate protective gear such as blast resistant clothing, helmets, and eye protection. Vehicular deployment is inevitable. Security forces working in such areas should be equipped with appropriate protective gear such as blast resistant clothing, helmets, and the eye protection. Their vehicles should be equipped with V-shaped armored plate hull, blast resistant technology, proper sandbagging to minimize damage in the event of explosion. So you have to, in the event of explosion, also how you can minimize the damage by sandbagging. Machine guns and other weapons should be mounted on the top of sandbagging. Means suppose in a particular area, suppose there army or people are staying in tents, then sandbags will be kept there, so that even if somebody attacks, then that will not enter to the that will not damage the army people. So you have seen in case of the military spots or military posts, you will see sandbag everywhere. They can hide behind the sandbag and attack. Machine guns and other weapons should be mounted on the top of the vehicles. Machine guns with outward facing rotatory seats, from where men can have 360-degree observation outside. So where men can observe outside, everywhere they can outside if there is any movement by anybody. Also, security forces should always travel in a convoy of minimum or 2 to 3 vehicles, maintaining a safe distance of at least 40 to 50 meters between them, so that even if one vehicle is caught in a landmine, the person in the other vehicles will be able to take position and neutralize the threat. So, single-handedly that happened in case of Ulamata as well. Single-handedly, there should not be huge number of security forces should not go in one vehicle. How can a region can be made safe travel? Rigorous and regular implementation of various detection methods, for example, metal detectors, ground penetrating radar, trained sniffer dogs, locate clear landmines, ID is essential. So sniffer dogs, those who can locate the landmines, and ID is essential. Road opening parties play an important role in detection of ambushes. Aerial surveillance carried out through drones and road opening parties equipped with UGV, that is unmanned ground vehicles. Yes, these road opening parties play important role in detection of ambushes. Aerial surveillance by drones, road operating parties. Yes, drones can be a big. These drones everywhere application of drones to monitor, especially to monitor any activities. Monitor any activities by drones where somebody is making such type of arrangements. Road opening parties may be an important role in detection of ambushes. Okay. Not only detect the presence of terrorists to carry out operations, but also pick telltale signs of a likely ambush like the piles of rock and mud bags, dug out persons on the sides of the roads, and absence of people or movement on other vehicles. Areas known or suspected to be to contain landmines. IDs can be mapped in a contingency plans prepared for them. This includes establishing safe routes, setting up checkpoints, and creating evacuation plans as part of both preventive and mitigation measures. Preventive and mitigation measures. Mitigation measures means completely uh, solving the issue. Establishing safe routes. Safe routes means which are properly monitored routes or properly were drawn because as 60% of casualties are because of landmines. So in the road areas they are showing proper surveillance by drones and different technologies or by some special personals, setting of checkpoints, creating evacuation plans. All these things are most preventive and mitigation measures. What about intelligence inputs? While it is important to gather actionable intelligence due to enormous risk and reprisals by the terrorists, locals usually do not divulge information for money alone. Winning of hearts and minds is neither easy nor quick. Relationships have been cultivated and goodwill generated among the local population on a long-term basis beyond and above transnational level. This requires patience, commitment, empathy, integrity on a part of security forces which something is lacking. Intelligence input is very important. So it is not easy to winning heart and minds of those people of tribal areas. What can be learned? What can be learned from an explosion? There is simply no substitute for good and old routine. Old routine investigation of crimes, including that ID ambushes. No substitute for good and yes, there is no substitute. An ID ambush is not an insular standard event. It is a whole ecosystem behind it, comprising financiers, suppliers, transporters, builders, triggermen. The different people are associated with an ID blast, which is big plan. It is pertinent to mention here that in just 1 year alone, Afghanistan US forensic investigation teams picked up mind-blowing around 500 fingerprints, the remnants of IEDs, 5,000 fingerprints, IEDs and explosives recovered from scenes of bomb blast. So there are 5,000 fingerprints. That means so many people are getting associated with it. This enables identification and detection of hundreds of suspects and accomplices involved in IOD ambushes. Diligent scientific investigation, establishment of linkages from meticulous collection and marshalling of evidence, framing of charge sheet, followed by speedy trials, conviction. Yes, serve as a deterrent of terrorism. There should be speedy trials. Quickly, they should be punished. There should be scientific investigation, diligent scientific investigation. That means proper investigation. In the establishment of linkages. What are some other measures that need to be undertaken? Several measures need to be undertaken at the government level. Both the other central and states. These include collaboration of international organizations, NGOs, and other countries to share information, resources, best practices of landmine and ID prevention, detection and clearance. Implementation and enforcement of national and international laws, policies, regulation aimed at preventing the use, production, and trade of landmines and IEDs. So there should be international cooperation. There you need huge amount of resources There should be enforcement of national and international laws policies properly. There should be high punishment of those who are involved in terrorism. Right? There's the trade of landmines or explosive, that how that can be reduced. That so intelligence should be proper. Legislative measures are required for mandatory addition. Odoriferous chemicals and for biosensors explosive use in the industry mining for their easy detection during transport. Legislative measures are required for a stricter rules, controls or manufacture explosive and detonators. Legislative measures that manufacturing of such type of explosive that need to be strict control. Other countries have several counter ID measures for spending billions. Right? Counter ID measures require huge amount of money. So huge amount of money is need to be spent. The US, for example, set up joint improvised threat defeat organization to prevent identified defeat IEDs. It has spent about 20 billion to counter IED measures in 2005. NATO's counter IED center of excellence is based on Madrid. A small unit exists in India under the National Security Guard. So these are the various examples, international examples. IED have been causing major setbacks in fighting militants in India. It's high time that overreaching agencies are created under the Ministry of Home Affairs to coordinate the efforts both by the Government of India and state governments to provide legislative, technological, procedure support for the law enforcement agencies. Law enforcement agencies. Okay. A total ban on diesel vehicles could be in India. Total ban on diesel vehicles. That's a proposal. Here there are two interests. If you totally ban diesel vehicles, that will affect. That will affect the economic structure, but it will solve a major. It is a major problem of environment. Diesel powered four vehicles by 2027 in cities and a population more than 1 million. In cities, where there is population of more than 1 million, we can consider banning of diesel vehicles instead of transition to electric and gas fuel vehicles. So in those areas, you cannot use diesel because it is highly dangerous to the environment. The Energy Transition Advisory Committee, headed by former Petroleum Secretary Sarun Kapoor, has also recommended that city transport should be a mix of metro trains and electric buses by 2030. So by 2030, we should shift to metros and electric buses because that is a very convenient or environmentally sustainable measures regarding transport system. Diesel driven four wheelers may be eliminated as soon as possible. Therefore, a ban on diesel powered four wheelers in all million plus cities and all towns with high population has to be enforced in 5 years, that is 2027. Diesel or driven four wheelers may be eliminated. Right? government is trying to eliminate as soon as possible. So by 2027, maybe they will be enforced in case of million plus cities, because health is a health is right to health is coming under Article 41, which is a fundamental right, and it is essential that every human being has right to live in a pollution free environment, and the diesel vehicles, they are creating huge environmental issues. Commercial vehicles may transition to LNG in short term, liquefied natural gas. No diesel city buses addition to be allowed in urban areas. No diesel city buses. Only LNG or electric. To drive towards transition towards the clean vehicle urban public transport in about 10 years. So in next 10 years, we will ensure that no diesel vehicles are present in any city. That is the objective. A ban, what a total ban on diesel vehicles could mean in India. Background of this proposal. The panel recommendation came in the wake of the government stated aim to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and produce 40% of its electricity from renewables as a part of 2017 net zero goals. In the Glasgow summit, we have promised that by 2070 our 2070 will achieve net zero emission. That means total amount of carbon dioxide that is released to atmosphere will be absorbed by the carbon sink. We will observe that. So we have the net zero target. So we have to reduce that net zero target. So we have to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. If you want to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, obviously you have to ban the diesel vehicles. Diesel is currently account around 40% of India's petroleum products consumption, and according to petroleum analysis petroleum planning analysis said, the proposed ban will have significant footprint. A large number of cities in India have more than 1 million people. It include not just the metropolitan centers, but also smaller town cities such as Kota, Raipur, Dhanbad, Vijayawada, Jodhpur, Amritsar. So large number of cities, these cities which are experiencing high pollution, their diesel vehicles will be banned, and the 40% of petroleum products that will be the contribution that will which is causing the air pollution, that will be reduced, and those transport vehicles they will convert to LNG at present time they will convert to LNG or liquefied natural gas or electric, so transport system can be managed. Okay. Next is, who make diesel cars in India? Maruti Suzuki, the country's largest passenger vehicle, stopped making diesel vehicles from April 2020 and has signaled that it doesn't have plans to re-enter this segment. Diesel engine is, however, part of models sold by Hyundai and Kia, Toyota, Innova Krista. They all are producing a diesel engine. What is the issue of the proposal? It is not clear how the proposal for a ban, how it will be implemented. If accepted, will unfold how practical it will be to implement. Especially true in case of medium and heavy commercial vehicles that are used for transport in good highways that can be stopped. Buses are plying most Indian cities, but diesel is mainstay. Even if the ban on diesel in commercial vehicles have to be longer transition time, significant disruption could still happen. Right? It will like a longer transition time means we cannot stop those vehicles whose are purchased by diesel. You will stop manufacturing of diesel vehicles. Right? So it will take long time because those vehicles are already diesel vehicles are already purchased. They will continue to pollute the environment. Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Haryana make almost 40% of diesel sold in India. While it seems easier for moment to convert diesel trucks to compressed natural gas, there are certain limitations including LNG be used for shorter distances and lower tonnage carrying capacity. Their challenges with respect to diesel is that the they can travel certain distances or few distances by LNG. But in case of interstate travel, obviously they need some high efficient fuel that is diesel. Okay. Also, many auto industry players argue that car makers having presence in the diesel segments are already in compliance with current emission norms and have invested heavily to transition from the diesel fleet from BS4 to BS6 norms. They are already transferred their engines. BS6 it is of high price, it is high efficient, and it is now operational. What region of people prefer diesel vehicles? Higher fuel economy of diesel engines or petrol powertrains is one factor. Higher fuel economy. The stems from the greater energy content per liter diesel and inherent efficiency of diesel engine. It is highly efficient as well. Diesel engines do not use high voltage spark ignition, thus use less fuel per kilometer. They have high compression of ratios, making it the fuel choice for heavy vehicles. So heavy vehicles, diesel is best because it can be huge capacity of storage and uh, it do not always it do not obey high voltage spark ignition, so there is no issues with respect to that. Also diesel is more torque, offer more torque and less likely to stall as they are controlled by mechanical electrical governor. They are better for haulage. So it is more efficient for operation, it is easy for operation, it is efficient for operations. That is the advantages of diesel vehicles. Why car makers are moving away from diesels? The higher compression ratio of the diesel engines means that there are increased emissions of oxides. Nitrogen oxide is one of the drawbacks of diesel engine versus for petrol. The biggest blow for diesel through has been external trigger. So, how amount of emissions that occur from diesel engine whenever diesel is consumed? That is the biggest issue regarding diesel engine. Volkswagen emission scandal, which led to increase in the negative perception against the diesel across markets, including India. Also, reason why Maruti Suzuki and other companies can announce exit from diesel segment or roll out BS6 emissions norms from April 2020, prohibitively high cost and upgrading the diesel engines to meet the new standard. So, upgrading the petrol engine is easy, but upgrading the diesel engine to new standard is difficult. That's why government is completely That's why the company like Maruti Suzuki, it has stopped making diesel engines. The government decision for leapfrog directly from BS4 to BS6. That's why car makers are cite their own viability of returning the diesel in their portfolio. If it is not viable, it is easy for conversion from it is easy for petrol engines to for conversion for petrol engines from petrol engine. In case of BS4 engines, upgrades are more complicated. So it is easy to upgrade petrol engine for BS6. Car makers have put three pieces of the equipment: a diesel particulate filter, selective catalytic reduction system, and LNT, that is lean NOx trap, to meet the BS6 norms. At the same time, this was vehicle to cover both particular matter PM, that is, or NOx emissions for under BS6, right? So so under BS6, it is the particular matter NOx emissions need to be controlled as well, because NOx can cause acid rain and major environmental hazards. So in such a situation, that steps must be taken. So what is upshot overall the proposal? The move towards phasing out diesel vehicles, ultimately petrol vehicles, is keeping with action by most federal governments across the world. So many federal governments across the world, they are now removing diesel vehicles because that creates a great environmental threat. In case of India, however, automotive experts foresee the difficulties in implementing the total ban because car makers, oil companies have invested heavily in transitioning the BS6 model, so that investment could go down and then complete ban on will be implemented. So commercial vehicle segment where diesel penetration is very high, and alternative fuels options such as electric vehicles, CNG, liquefied gas, and hydrogen are still working. A total ban would cause serious disruption. Total ban that would cause serious disruption. So there should be some control measures rather than the total ban. Gradually, we should moving against plastic. For example, gradually we will move against or anti-diesel transport system. But that should be gradual. Otherwise, there will be reactionary events. According to Energy Transition Advisory Committee, LNG has potential to replace the diesel, and CNG has heavy duty vehicles, thereby reducing the greenhouse gas emission. It's pushed to both medium and heavy vehicles despite cost constraints. The higher payback periods, the game changer for Indian logistic market. Alongside, alongside a recommendation of electric vehicle push in leveraging hydrogen as a motive fuel. So these statements are wrong. So automakers have consistently maintained the government approach should be techno agnostic. Technology agnostic, and intervention should be restricted to prescribing stringent operation standards, including emission norms, including some car company of a particular technology. Fuel type is not able to meet the standard, then it should be phased out. Rather than posing a complete ban, there should be some regulations like you cannot emit this much of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Oil marketing companies claim that emission standards under BS6 have necessitated oil refineries to substantially reduce leverage sulfur in diesel. The Bureau of Indian Standards has brought out specification of diesel with 7% biodiesel. So we are also using biofuel, right? Biofuel, it is, we are also using, suppose we may use 4th generation biofuel that is from GM crops, that will also have regarding this biodiesel. Okay, and we are targeting that 20% of ethanol blending by 2025. What is yellow fever? It is a vaccine. Yellow fever is administered with 50 countries in the country, including 3 in Tamil Nadu. Acute viral hemorrhagic diseases transmitted by infected mosquitoes. Yellow fever is transmitted by infected mosquitoes. Yellow in the name of refers that jaundice. It's like refers to jaundice that affects some patients. What are the causes? Mosquito bite, usually Aedes aegypti mosquito. When that mosquito bites, female aegypti especially, such type of it occurs. Apprehended mosquito is a course of infection. Is a course of infection for the rest of life. The virus is endemic among the monkeys that live in the tree crops, and the jaws is and the as the jungle canopy, many parts Africa and Americas. So why there is risk? Risk is that it's yellow fever. It is transmitted by mosquito bite, and that is in case of Africa and America, the prevalence is the source of infection is very high. Huge number of mosquitoes are there, so they may transmit the disease. Symptoms of yellow fever may include fever, headache, jaundice, muscle pain, nausea, vomiting, fatigue, jaundice, all these things, and bleeding of the nose and mouth. Right. So people who develop sucking symptoms like die in 2 weeks in case of the yellow fever. Next, what is e-cigarettes? E-cigarette, the Information Broadcasting Ministry recently warned print media, TV channels, OTT platforms, digital media against directly or indirectly promoting e-cigarettes. You cannot promote e-cigarettes. It was earlier it was thinking that it is substitute, but it is not. It is wrong. It's not. Cigarettes, something called as e-cigarettes, vapes, e-hookahs, vape pens, electronic nicotine delivery system. All these are not allowed. It should not be promoted by the new channels or OTT. Some cigarettes to look regular cigarettes, cigars, pipes. Some are look like USB flash drives, pens, and other system. Using an e-cigarette is often called as vaping. Potential benefits: e-cigarettes have often been suggested as a potential means to help smoker quits, but it's another source of getting into addicted. So it's not good for health. What are the harmful effects of these cigarettes? These cigarettes are not safe for youth, young adults, or pregnant women. Other as young adults who have currently tobacco products, that is not also safe for them. It is not safe for anybody. E-cigarette is not safe for anybody. Right? In 2016, the US Southern General has concluded e-cigarette as use among the youth or youth adults is a public health concern, and exposure to nicotine during adolescence can cause addiction, and this may cause addiction. It may be further addiction. E-cigarette can become a further addiction. It can cause it can develop as a multiple health concern. Right. But in 2015, it is found that use of e-cigarette daily associated with 79% increase in heart attack. 79% increase in heart attack risk after the variables were taken into account. ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, according to white paper on e-cigarettes by Indian Council of Medical Research, depending on battery output, voltage used, right? Solvents can release varying amount of potential carcinogens. such as acetaldehyde, formaldehyde, acetone, right? So these are the steps taken. This is ICMR, that is Indian Council of Medical Research. It has released a white paper in the cigarettes. That means what are the potential carcinogens, how it is that may cause cancer also. Liquid vaporizing solutions also contain toxic chemicals and metals. They can be used for several adverse health effects, including cancers. So this may develop also in liquid vaporizing solutions. Prohibition of electric cigarette bill 2019, it prohibits manufacture. Yes, this bill, it prohibits manufacture. It has not become act. Manufacture, import, export, solution, storage. It is a step of Indian government. Combating menace of e-cigarettes through a statute prohibition of electronic cigarettes drives devices collusion, several regulation of display, use of water products, and elimination and film and television programs. So these things should not be promoted in case of such type of organized events. It should not be promoted. Cigarette Smoke Act 1975, Tobacco Control Legislation in India, Dead State Cigarette Act 1975, mandates to display statutory health warnings. You have seen the cover, right? In cover there is various cancer patients images are seen. Delhi Prohibition of Smoking and Non-Smokers Health Protection Act. It was passed in Delhi Assembly and become the model for central. Yes, these things are very important and dictated by the Supreme Court. Central legislation on banning smoking in the public spaces. You cannot smoke in the public spaces, right? So these are the some steps that required and has taken regarding e-cigarettes. So the discussion ends here, and like and share this, like this video, share this video, and subscribe to VANIK-IAS. Thank you.